Let me say this clearly right at the start. The questions I'm about to answer right now are not the questions men ask in the comments. They're the questions men ask late at night, privately, when no one else can see. And if you're watching this, there's a very good chance you've asked at least one of them. Today's video is what Filipino women really notice about you and what we almost never say out loud, not what dating coaches guess, and not what forums argue about, not what your buddy at the bar claims he figured out. It's a real Filipino wife perspective from the inside. And before we go any further, I need to say this with respect. This is not a video to shame you, and I'm not here to call men lonely, desperate, or broken. Most of the men who message me privately are kind men, successful men, men who tried love before and it didn't go the way they hoped. So they come here in the Philippines and everything feels different and very confusing. By the way, I'm Chrissy. I grew up here in the Philippines and have been around Filipinas conversations in my entire life. My family, my friends, my cousins, my aunties, church ladies, and even my neighbors. And now because Rob and I run this channel and because with the consultations, I've spoken with hundreds of Western men privately. And, they ask same questions, same fears, and the same misunderstandings that keep repeating. And I'm gonna give you a little simple picture. A man arrives in the Philippines. First week, he feels like a movie star. Women smile at him in the mall, and the cashier calls him sir and give him a really sweet smile. And there's a girl on an app replies fast and says, "Good morning, handsome," and he thinks, "Wow, I'm back." And then 2 weeks later, he's confused because the sweetness is still there, but he can't tell what it means. Is it culture? Is it politeness? Or is it real interest? Is it a business model? That confusion is what destroys men here. A lot of you will say these men are stupid, but no, it's because they're reading the Philippines with Western eyes. Here's a real email that I got, and this guy said, "Chrissy, she calls me sir. Sometimes she's sweet. She replies fast. Sometimes she says God bless a lot. Is she interested or she's just being polite?" And I smiled because that question is the Philippines in one sentence. Because here, politeness can look like romance, and romance can look like politeness. So men get attached to a feeling and don't realize the woman is still deciding. And I know some of you are thinking, "Chrissy, are you going to tell me the truth? Yes, but I'm going to do it in a way that helps you. Because the goal is not to make you paranoid. The goal here is to make you calm and confident. A calm man makes better choices. A calm man doesn't get played. A calm man also attracts better women. So here's how this video works. I'm going to read the real questions men ask me in private, and I'm going to answer them like a Filipino woman would if she didn't have to worry about saving face. There will be no cruelty, there will be no lectures, just being honest. And I want you to stay until the end because there is one mistake good men make. Good men that quietly makes a woman step back. Not because she hates him, not because she found another guy, because something in her body says it's not safe. Most men never realize they're doing it, and once you understand it, you will stop accidentally chasing women away. And one more thing, this video is not just for dating. It's for any man who wants to build a real life here in the Philippines. Because if you understand women, you understand the country better. You'll avoid drama, you will avoid expensive mistakes, you'll move slower, smarter, and with more peace. And also, quick note before we start, if you want a deeper guide, Rob and I wrote our book, Fly Me to the Philippines, a modern man's guide to living, traveling, and finding love in the Philippines. It's not a fantasy book, it's a practical guide for modern men, travel, culture, dating, and the real rules that nobody teaches you. You can find it in the description box. Now, first question. What's the first thing a Filipina actually notices about a foreign man? Most men think it's money or height or age or your muscles or maybe your watch, your shoes, your passport, your blue eyes, your green eyes, your brown eyes. But no, the first thing we notice is how you enter the space, your energy, your vibe. And some men walk into a room like they're trying to win. They scan, they perform, they talk a little too loud and a little too much. They try to be funny, even though they're not. They try to look unbothered, and we feel the effort. But, effort is not confidence. Effort is effort. Other men walk in calm. They look at people's faces. They say thank you to the guard. They don't act like room owes them attention. And those men, we notice them too. Maybe not in the first 5 seconds, but we notice them. Filipino women grew up reading rooms, crowded families, unspoken rules. We learn to feel the tension fast. So when a man is restless, angry, bitter, or needy, we feel it before it speaks. And here's a tiny detail that matters. How do you treat people around you who can't do anything for you? The waitress, the guard, the tricycle driver, the cashier. If you're kind there, it's very attractive. If you're rude there, it's a big, big red flag. It tells us what you'll be like when you're comfortable. So I'm just gonna share you this little story that I've experienced here in the Philippines with a Western man. Rob and I went to this hardware because we were like buying construction materials. And I've seen this Western man, he was so rude with the cashier. Just one word that came out from his mouth, I already knew that he was being rude. His body language, his gesture, the way he looked at the cashier, those are the gestures that resembles an arrogant man, a man who doesn't have respect to a culture, a man who can treat people poorly anytime. And every time I see a Western man with the same gesture, I'm gonna create my first impression. It's the same as that guy that is very rude to the cashier in the hardware. And if you want a simple checklist for first impression, here it is. Calm face, slow movement, respectful tone, no complaining in the first 10 minutes. Treat staff like humans. That's it. You do that and you already separate yourself from a lot of men who come here acting entitled. When the waiter got his order wrong, he snapped, not screaming, but sharp, and the whole table changed. The woman beside him smiled, but her eyes went cold. And later she told her friend, if he can disrespect staff, he can disrespect me as well when he's tired. That's how fast women connect dots. Now let's go to the question number 2. What makes a Filipino feel emotionally safe with a man? Well, safety is not a speech. It's not gifts. It's not even the romance. Safety is predictability. It's steadiness. It's knowing your mood will not swing like a typhoon. If I never know which version of you I'm going to get, sweet you, jealous you, silent you, angry you, I can't relax. And if I can't relax, I can't bond. Because bonding needs softness, and softness needs safety. One of the biggest safety tests is how you handle small no. Not big no, but small no. No, I'm tired. No, not tonight. No, baby, I need time. If your tone changes, if you sulk, if you push, if you get cold, we will feel it. And something closes a little. We might still smile, we might still answer, but inside, the door becomes heavier. Let me explain what it looks like when a woman feels safe. She laughs more. She shares more. She stops checking her phone every 2 minutes. She wants you around, not because you're paying, but because your presence feels easy. She will not feel awkward when you're around. If you will feel that she is being herself when you're with her, it means she feels safe with you. That's the goal. It sounds very easy. And yes, this is where a little spicy truth comes in. Men think attraction is only about how you look, but women feel attraction when man can control himself. Restraint is sexy. Not pretending you don't want her, just not being owned by it. A calm man who can wait. That is powerful. Here's a practical way to create safety without turning into a robot. When she says no or not now, you don't debate. You say, okay, I understand. Full stop. Then you keep being kind. That one moment tells a woman, this man is stable. And stability is rare. We had a friend before that told us, I don't want to be pushy, but I also don't want to look weak. And I said, being pushy is not strength. Being calm is strength. So he slowed down. He stopped demanding daily reassurance. 2 weeks later, he said, she is sweeter now. Exactly, because she finally relaxed. Now, question number 3. What scares good women away, even when they like the man? Good women don't always leave with drama. They fade, and men don't understand why. The biggest pattern is rushing. Rushing intimacy, rushing commitment, rushing the future, talking about forever before you know each other's normal day. If you met her 2 weeks ago and you're already saying, I'll take you to America, we will marry, you are my last chance, that's not romantic. It's a pressure. And pressure makes women step back. Another one is talking badly about your ex. If every ex was crazy, every woman was unfair, every relationship ended because they were wrong, a Filipino woman thinks, one day, I'll be that story too. Another one is needing constant reassurance. Do you still like me? You know, those kind of questions. Are we okay? Why didn't you reply? Once in a while is human. All the time is exhausting. It turns romance into a job. And here's a quiet one. Love bombing. Too many compliments too fast. My princess, my queen, my soulmate, my everything. Sometimes it doesn't feel realistic anymore. Filipinos like sweetness, but when it's too much and too soon, it feels like you're trying to lock us down with words. And let me add something men don't expect. Sometimes a woman likes you, but she's also watching your emotional spine. Can you stand on your own feet? Or do you lean on her for your stability? A woman wants to add to your life, not become your life support. If you're not sure how to slow down without losing momentum, do it like this. Send one good message in the morning, one in the evening. Ask one real question and let her answer. If she wants you, she will come back. If she only wants attention, she will drift. You're not being cold, you're giving the connection room to show what it really is. If you're already talking to someone and you want clarity before you get too attached, we do private consultations. Sometimes it's just Rob, and sometimes it's me and Rob together. Links are below. No pressure, just an option. Now let's go to the next set of questions. These questions are the ones men whisper. Question number 4. What would you say to a good man who feels invisible? You know, I heard all the time about invisibility of a man in the West, but I didn't know about invisibility of men here in the Philippines. But it's possible. Feeling invisible doesn't mean you're unwanted. A lot of good men are invisible because they're quiet, they're polite, they don't chase, they don't crave attention, they don't flirt like a teenager, they don't act like a clown to get reaction. In the West, that can make you disappear. In the Philippines, it can actually work if you stop trying to fix it with panic. Here's what happens. A man feels invisible, so he starts performing. He starts over-texting, over-explaining, over-giving. He sends long messages. He double messages. He tries to be more, and he thinks that will make him seen, but it often makes him feel available. And women can sense when a man is trying to buy certainty with effort. So what do you do instead? You become calm and clear. You lead gently. You don't beg for attention. You create a life that has structure. You know, you go with work, hobbies, friends, routines, and when you invite a woman into that, it feels like leadership, not need. There was a guy from Australia told us once, Rob and Chrissy, I feel like I'm competing with every other guy online. And we asked him, are you acting like you're in a competition? And he said, yes. He was messaging 10 times a day, giving compliments like a machine. We told him to slow down, send fewer messages, and ask for a video call like a normal adult. And 2 days later, the woman respected him more. Not because he played games, because he stopped acting like a scared boy. And listen carefully, gentlemen, just a little naughty truth. If you act like you'd do anything for her attention, you stop being the prize. A woman wants a man, not a fan. A calm man who can say, okay, talk to you later, and mean it, that feels strong. Let's go to the question number 5. How can a man tell the difference between interest and politeness? Well, politeness is responsive. Interest is initiative. If you're always the one messaging first, that's politeness. If she checks in without a reason, that's interest. If she replies warmly but never moves the connection forward, that's politeness. If she makes time, give you time, suggests a call, ask about your day in detail, remembers things that you told her, that's interest. Women don't have to say, I'm serious. They will show it. They show it with time. They will show it with effort. They show it with consistency. Here's a clean test, and it's not manipulation. Stop leading for a moment, not to punish, not to make her chase, just to observe. If the connection dies, it was politeness. If she steps forward, it was interest. That's it. And one more thing about interest. A sincere woman will eventually let you see her real life, not just selfies. Real life. Her home area, her everyday routine, a friend walking by, a family sound in the background. That's why video calls matter so much. Not to show you're suspicious, because reality kills fantasy, and fantasy is where most men get trapped. There was a man told us, she always says good morning. She always sends a message good night. But when we ask, does she ever ask you a question that requires a real answer? He was like stunned, because good morning handsome is easy, but how was your day really is different. Interest has depth. Let's go to the question number 6. What do Filipinas really think about age gaps? Honestly, well, Filipinas notice age. We're not blind, but we don't worship numbers like Western dating culture does. We think about emotional age. A calm 60-year-old man can feel younger than a chaotic 45-year-old. A man with peace in his body feels attractive. A man who doesn't complain all day feels attractive. A man who is not at war with his exes feels attractive. Age gaps fail when the older man tries to control, when he uses money like a leash, when he acts like the woman is lucky just to be there. That kills respect. Age gaps succeed when the man is steady and generous without keeping score, when he is protective without being possessive. And yes, when he still shows desire, because women want to feel wanted, but he carries that desire with discipline. That balance is very attractive. Also, be honest about the future without making it too heavy. A good Filipina is thinking, if he gets sick, what happens? If we build a life, what does it look like? You don't have to promise everything, but you do have to show you're a man with a plan, not a man buying a moment. When a woman feels you're building, not renting, she relaxes. I've seen age gaps work beautifully. A man in his 60s, the woman in her 30s. He never bragged, he never threatened, he didn't say, I paid for this. He treated her like a partner, and you could see it. She was proud to be with him. Proud. She doesn't feel like trapped. Now, we're about to enter the part men almost never hear. What women say when men aren't around, and why respect disappears quietly. Stay with me. Women talk about safety, not just physical safety, but emotional safety. We talk about how man reacts when she's tired, when she's stressed, when she says no, when she asks a question. We talk about whether he listens or performs. We talk about whether being around him feels peaceful or like walking on eggshells. Let me paint you a real picture. Filipino friends sitting together, maybe at someone's house, maybe at small restaurants, and the chismes, the chica is flowing. One girl says, he's sweet, but when I didn't reply for 2 hours, he got cold. Another says, he pays, but he counts everything. And someone says, he wants me to quit my job already. And another one says, He asks me who I am with every night. And the room gets quiet because those are not romantic stories. Those are warning stories. Then someone will say something like, "Girl, be careful. He's nice now, but what happens when he's angry?" That sentence is powerful and, of course, scary. Because women think long term. We think, can I live with this for years? And sometimes the private talk is even simpler. A woman will say, "He's nice, but I feel tired when I talk to him." That's a big sentence because love should not feel like work in the beginning. So if your conversation feels heavy, serious, and pressured, slow down. Make it light, make it normal, and let her breathe. Women also talk about family pressure. Sometimes a woman likes you, but she's also thinking, if this becomes serious, what will my family say? Some families push for fast commitment. Some push for money, and some push for migration. A good woman is trying to manage all of that without making you feel like an ATM. Question number 8. What makes a Filipina lose respect for a man? Respect doesn't usually die in one moment. It erodes like water on stone. The biggest respect killer is emotional instability. When a man's mood depends on her replies, when he needs constant reassurance, when he turns small misunderstandings into big emotional storms. Another respect killer is insecurity dressed as control. Checking her phone, asking jealous questions. If you need to watch her to feel safe, she will stop feeling safe with you. And here's a big one, buying affection. When help becomes leverage, when gifts come with pressure, when generosity comes with, "After all I've done," a woman may still accept it. She may still smile, but inside, something hardens. Let me say it in a Filipino way. A man who gives freely is attractive. A man who gives with a rope attached is scary, even if the rope is soft. Let me give you a quick timeline of how respect erodes so you can catch it early. Stage 1. She feels pressure but she still smiles. Stage 2. She replies slower but still says sweet words. Stage 3. She stops sharing details and keeps conversation shallow. Stage 4. She becomes busy and your relationship becomes a routine, not a connection. Most men only notice stage 4, but the fix is at stage 1. Remove pressure and return to calm. Question number 9. What do sincere Filipinas want that men rarely offer? Number 1, patience, emotional steadiness, clear intentions. A good woman wants to feel that she can breathe. She wants to feel she can say "not yet" without losing your kindness. She wants to see that you don't panic when things slow down, because slow is where real trust grows. She also wants clarity, not fantasy, not promises you can't keep. Clarity. What are you building? What do you want? What kind of life are you offering? And what kind of life are you expecting? And yes, she wants romance, but not the loud kind, the consistent kind, the kind that shows up on ordinary days. Because in the Philippines, love that lasts is not fireworks, it's care. What I want you to understand with this video without feeling ashamed, wanting peace is not weakness. Wanting affection is not desperate. Wanting love later in life does not mean you failed. It means you're still alive and you're still capable of building something good. Many men come here after years of carrying responsibilities from work, from family, stress, and sometimes a long season of being untouched. Not just sexually, but emotionally. You can live in a quiet house and still feel like you're starving for warmth. That's not pathetic. And if you're thinking, "Chrissy, what if I already made these mistakes?" Then hear this. You can recover. You can reset the tone. Apologize once if needed. Then change behavior. Stop pressure. Stop interrogations. Start calm leadership. Women don't just look at your mistake. We look at your correction. A man who can correct himself is attractive. And the Philippines can feel like water after a dry season. Women smile, they are warm, they're very feminine, they make you feel seen. But here's the truth, not every smile is a promise, not every warmth is commitment. Sometimes it's culture. Sometimes it's politeness. Sometimes it's interest. Sometimes it's a hustle, and your job is to move slowly enough to know which is which. The mistake good men make that quietly pushes women away is pressure. Not always big pressure. Small pressure. Pressure for reassurance. Pressure for quick commitment. Pressure for intimacy before trust is ready. Pressure disguised as romance. Miss you so much 10 times a day. Why you didn't reply? Are you still mine? That pressure makes a woman's body say, it's not safe, even if she likes you. So what do? You live with calm, you create a steady rhythm, you invite, you don't demand. You show desire, but you control it. You give, but you don't keep score. You listen, you don't interrogate. If you remember one thing from this video, remember this. Politeness is responsive, interest is initiative, and a woman who feels safe will move closer. Maybe slowly, but she will. If you want the kind of relationship that lasts here, your job is not to impress. Your job is to be consistent, to show up the same way, to be calm on normal days. Because normal days are the real test. Just a little naughty wink before I go. The men who do best here are not the ones who chase everything. They're the ones who can say, not yet, and still keep the tension alive. Women, remember that. The Philippines is not a fantasy island. It's a mirror. It shows you who you are when you're seen again. Strong men don't look away. They look clearly, choose wisely, and move with respect. And if you're the kind of man who wants one woman, one life, and real peace, good. That's the kind of man the Philippines can reward. Just move slowly, choose carefully, and stay calm enough to see the truth in front of you. This is Chrissy, and always remember, fly smart, fly with confidence, only here from Fly Me to the Philippines.